Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. Is Tom Brady buying a piece of the Raiders so he can be their quarterback in 2023? Perna? Well, he might be. Or he may halt that ownership decision so he can play quarterback. Jimmy G's ankle is a big question mark for the upcoming season right now, and the Raiders may have Brian Hoyer and Aiden O'Connell as QB 1 and 2 heading into the season. Or, dear God, Matt Ryan. Now, I did find it humorous that Tom Brady would be Jimmy G's boss, and for the chaos, I now almost want to see him not just be his boss, but also be the guy who fires and replaces him. Let's dive into the Raiders' turmoil heading into this season. Please subscribe here. It's free. That's all I have to offer. It's free. Today's episode, though, is sponsored by Goodchop.com/YouTube and my code That'sGood120. That's Good 120 will get you $120 off your first 4 boxes. Goodchop is your online butcher. Now, I sought an alternative place to get my meat after I got tired of seeing the cuts I wanted out at the grocery store or looking like they'd been sitting there for days. I chose Goodchop because they work exclusively with family farmers and independent ranchers here in the United States, where the animals are responsibly raised and none of the meat has antibiotics or added hormones ever. Now, football toys with my emotions enough, so I avoid those extra hormones. In my most recent box, I received New York strips, ribeyes, fillets, bacon, wild-caught salmon, and chicken. You pick a box size and you select which meats you want, and then it arrives on your doorstep. Talk about meat that can't be beat. And if you're like me, you're probably cooking the strips and ribeyes first and then inhaling them. So if you want the highest quality meats, go to goodchop.com/YouTube and use my code That'sGood120 for $120 off your first 4 boxes. Aaron Rodgers went to a Taylor Swift concert. One thing ayahuasca in a darkness retreat won't cleanse or cure is dancing like a 40-year-old white guy. I've seen stage 4 brain cancer easier to cure than that. But what this tells me is that Aaron Rodgers is primed to either win his 3rd MVP in 4 seasons or he will retire after week 1, after he gets tired of yelling at everyone to get off his damn lawn. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have any kids, but I've never seen a man look more like a dad in my life. Surprise, Antonio Brown lied to everyone. AB was supposed to suit up and play in an Albany Empire game on Saturday. That's the arena football team he now owns. A move he and the team had been hyping, if you can call it that, for a few weeks. This gimmick got 2,000 more fans than normal to show up for the game. And when they arrived to watch Antonio Brown, guess what happened? AB didn't even come close to playing. Apparently, he didn't get his paperwork for his physical submitted soon enough to the league, and the team lost its 5th straight game. Damn, I would have hated to be in that meeting where Antonio Brown, the team owner, told Antonio Brown, the player, that he couldn't play.
Those are bodybuilders. This is pretty freaking low.
To AB's credit, he did show up to a practice with a helmet on, which is a lot more than he ever did after the Raiders traded for him. Now, Brown is also recruiting former NFL QB Cam Newton to come play for the team via Twitter. If you're going to say Cam Newton will play for your team, which AB did.
Ace Boogie, you can't call him Cam Newton because you don't like that name really. You gotta call him Ace Boogie, so hopefully we get more exciting people in the community coming here that want to be a part and give the community experience, so my friend Cam will be here soon.
Shouldn't you not be asking Twitter if they've seen Cam so he can give him $150,000 for 1 game? Based on everything we know about Antonio Brown, if you can bet on Cam Newton not playing ever for the Albany Empire at a sports book, I'd suggest putting your life savings on that bet and your grandma's Medicaid money on it as well. And then thank me when you become a billionaire. For those of you who are interested, June 16th is the next day Antonio Brown may or may not be playing for the Albany Empire.
This is pretty freaking low.
Speaking of shit shows, the Raiders. I am having a bit of a tough time trying to decipher which organization is currently run more poorly, the Cardinals or the Raiders. Last week, of course, the Cardinals elected to release receiver DeAndre Hopkins and eat $22 million in dead cap rather than, paying him $22 million to play. And have maybe one receiver on the field in case Kyler Murray does return at some point next season. And after seeing that, Josh McDaniels said, "Hold my hard kombucha." I'm not sure if he actually drinks that, but it seems like the kind of asshole drink he'd definitely consume. Now, it turns out that QB Jimmy Garoppolo's foot might not be ready to go by the time the season starts. In fact, if you recall, when the Raiders agreed to sign Jimmy G, they delayed his introductory press conference. Now, we all assumed it was so everyone in the building could have proper time to adjust to just how stunning he is as a man. A specimen that would make George Clooney weep, but instead, it was because he failed his physical. I failed my physical once too, but that's because I grabbed the doctor's hand and I said, "You'll take your finger out when I'm good and damn ready for you to do so. You leave it in there, doctor!" In fact, Garoppolo's foot is so fucked up, they had to rework his contract so that if his ankle isn't healed by the time the season starts, the team can cut him without any issue. Other than, not having a quarterback. Now, regardless, they'd be off the hook for the full $23.8 million he's owed if his ankle isn't ready to go. Now, Jimmy injured his foot December 6th, and the 49ers determined that with his specific Liz Frank fracture that he did not need surgery. Well, once the Raiders doctors looked at his ankle, they determined his foot didn't heal properly and that he did need surgery, which makes me think the 49ers need to reevaluate their medical staff. Never let this guy's doctors be better than yours. While a surgery 3 months later than when it should have happened isn't ideal, that doesn't mean Garoppolo won't be ready to go for the season. It's expected that he will be, but he's going to miss OTAs and all that other BS that would have had him ready to go for week 1. And obviously, with the surgery, an unexpected surgery that's taking a little longer to heal, there is concern there, but we're not going to know anything until August, once we get deep into the recovery of his ankle and when he actually tests it at practice. Now, this will get a little interesting in that Tom Brady is in the process of having his minority ownership stake with the Raiders approved. Now, some are suggesting that this means his first decision as minority owner will be to name himself the starting QB. His second order, of course, will be that nobody can listen to this old MIA banger. Jimmy, eat at Jimmy John's or at Jimmy Eat World. Tom's not too familiar with music. Or reference Jimmy Carter. Brady will erase all mention of Jimmy's from the Raiders' existence. Now, Tom Brady is the betting favorite. He is the betting favorite to be the Raiders quarterback if Garoppolo's ankle isn't ready to go and the team releases him. At the moment, though, Brady and Mark Davis need 24 of the 32 NFL owners to approve his ownership stake. And according to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, they may add a stipulation that the deal only gets approved if Brady is 100% fully retired, which means he would not be allowed to play quarterback. Boo! Boo the no fun league! If that were not added into the ownership deal, if Brady wanted to skirt that stipulation so he could indeed play, he would then need approval from all 32 of the owners. And I'd imagine 3 of the owners in the AFC West would be a hard no on bailing the Raiders out of their quarterback mess. Also, it could simply be an unfair advantage if he played quarterback. Forget that he's better than Jimmy G. I'm talking about money. That sneaky bastard could, if he chose to, play on the league minimum, keep that salary cap hit as low as possible while also paying himself a shit ton of money as an owner. So the Raiders and Brady could circumvent the cap, which would not fly. It would be funny, though, for Brady to be both Josh McDaniels' boss and his employee as a quarterback. Basically, if Brady gets the ownership stake, he's not playing quarterback. But that's a deal that could happen at any time, next year or the year after, if Brady does want to play. Now, if Garoppolo gets cut, the Raiders could also consider guys like Matt Ryan, who is set to be in the broadcast booth but would play for the right situation. Matt, this is not the right situation. In my dream scenario, Carson Wentz joins the team in August. Now, this all comes just a week or so after Davante Adams had to walk back some comments about the team he made in an interview with The Ringer. He said something like, front office thinks this is the best bet for us right now to put us in a position to be urgent. We don't see eye to eye on what we think is best for us right now. The Raiders front office welcomed Adams' input on roster moves, and he says he's grateful to be included in those conversations. Still, he knows he doesn't make the final decisions. I'm going to have to buy into this and try to be as optimistic as possible, he says. It's not what I expected to happen, but it's something that's the reality now. That was from the Ringer interview. So let's rehash how many bad decisions this organization has made after overcoming all of the odds to get into the playoffs in the 2021 season. Right? Gruden resigned that season because of emails, but interim head coach Rich Bisaccia comes in, gets the team on track with Derek Carr, who threw for a career-high 4,800 yards in the season they got into the playoffs. Instead of sticking with the coach who got him there, who earned the team's respect, they hired Josh McDaniels, who famously lost an entire organization's respect when he was the Broncos head coach. Derek Carr plays worse under McDipshit, who then benched Derek Carr for no reason, pisses him off, and because of Derek Carr's contract, the Raiders couldn't even trade him, so he walks, leaving a massive hole at the QB position. Davante Adams left Green Bay specifically to come play with Derek Carr. Now Adams is alienated. Their plan to replace Carr was injured Jimmy G, who needed ankle surgery as soon as he walked into the building, and he's played in basically just 2 injury-free seasons his entire career. Look, I love Garoppolo. As a Broncos fan, if some NFL QB in my division is going to fuck me, I'd want it to be Jimmy G. Somehow, despite being the most handsome man in any sport, he's still an NFL underdog. But the Raiders downgraded at the quarterback position for no reason at all. Mark Davis squashed all the momentum the team had built by bringing in Josh McDaniels and GM Dave Ziegler. If Josh McDaniels wasn't sold on Derek Carr, then why the hell would they give him a contract extension in the 2022 offseason that would ultimately allow Carr to walk for nothing? I think it's because the Raiders were banking on Tom Brady coming to play for them instead of deciding to retire. And it feels, once again, like McDaniels believes he's smarter than everyone else in the room. And he's not. As a play caller, maybe, but he's literally done nothing without Tom Brady. He failed in Denver, he failed in St. Louis as an OC, and he failed in year 1 with Derek Carr. Raiders fans need to pray that Tom Brady comes in, either as a QB or in just that ownership role, and gets rid of McDaniels. A team owner playing for his team, though? Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, Antonio Brown. Tom Brady, the next Antonio Brown. Heard it here first. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. I'm sorry, Raiders fans. I'm not optimistic. But just wait till we do the Cardinals video. I think you'll feel a little bit better about your team. Oh yeah, subscribe here, or whatever.